Okay, so back to this image. I'm just going to move on. For this screencast, I only have 15 minutes. I try to go pretty quickly, but I don't want to talk too fast, or I want to make sure I give everybody ample amount of time, or equal amount of time. Okay, so for this one, it doesn't fill the frame quite enough, and it is directly in the center. So just think about the composition techniques that we talked about, with rule of thirds. Maybe if you crop down on him a little bit, it'll make him pop a little bit more. I would add a little bit of contrast to this one. And like I talked about with that photo of the Great Smoky Mountain National Park sign and the road, how when stuff's in the shade or stuff's in the sun, you can see it looks like the sun's hitting out there, so it just blows that out completely, just washes it out. At least it's making it a solid background here, but it makes it just kind of awkward to me in a way that it's just white back there. So just think about that sort of stuff. If you ever look through like Southern Living or those home magazines, and they photograph inside, because inside is a completely different exposure than it is outside, and all the windows go completely white like that. So it just happens because you're exposing for this, which there's a different amount of light here as there is back here. And it's just the way cameras work. Our eyes are completely differently. Our eyes will be able to see him in a good exposure and out here in a good exposure. The cameras just can't really do it that well. Okay, so that I think was the last one because I think Rebecca's, yeah, just make sure, Rebecca, if your photos are online in Flickr, just make sure they're put in here. I do see on the photo stream that there are some photos that I didn't critique. I just don't know where they go. Let me see. Okay, they do say assignment 1, so it is somebody's photo, so I'll give them their critique. Just make sure to put them in your album, please. It just makes it easier for me. If you forget to do it, I'm not going to grade you down on it. It just makes it easier for me, and I don't have to keep reminding you to do it. And, of course, you'll be included in the video. Okay, so with this one, definitely rule of thirds here. Honestly, I don't think it's like the most interesting image. You definitely completed the assignment, and I appreciate that. And like with that other one, how I was saying how there was nothing in it to date it, that it could have been taken yesterday or 50 years ago. This one instantly, we've got parking spaces, we've got the sign here, we've got a new car. But good for completing the assignment. This would definitely work within a photo story. If you're getting ready to go on a hike or something, that would work. But just as a standalone image, not the best in my opinion. But that's just my opinion. Good job, rule of thirds. Looks like he's looking this way, out over the lake. Sometimes shooting into the sun can be kind of difficult. Kind of gives it a little bit of a hazy tint to it. A little bit of lens flare here again as well. Not a big deal. But yeah, just with this one, I don't know, without even seeing any emotion, it's almost kind of an emotion is evoked by him, almost like solemn or kind of sad for some reason, even though it's bright and sunny. Maybe I'm completely opposite of what somebody else is thinking. Yeah, I like this one too. Definitely, like this one, there's so much more going on, so much better than like that car photo. You get story about where you are. You can see the National Park logo there. The person, looking here, as well as we get to see all that as well. Curious what everyone's opinion about the road would be. Do we like that? Do we not like it? I guess because it's that scenic road, maybe that adds to it. And maybe even just had we seen a little bit more of the road underneath that yellow line, might have helped a little bit. I would have liked, had you had your subject here, push her hair behind her ears so we get a little bit of profile of a face and not just all of her hair. But yeah, that one's good. And if you are doing a photo story or you're creating an image, I know sometimes with your photo stories or the images, you and your friends are just going out for a drive and you take the photos. But always think about if you're trying to create an artistic image or something just that stands out a little bit, think about what your person's wearing. Because instantly, if you put her in a different costume, a different dress, you could make it seem like a totally different time period. Okay, similar image here. Just try to work on, for your assignments, when you're only submitting about 4 images, that there aren't too many very similar ones. Because for this set, you had 3 with people kind of looking off into the distance. So for your kind of turn in next week, just take another 1 or 2, just of something a little bit different as well. And the same for every assignment. You can always submit 4 to 8-ish or so. Don't do too many so we're not wasting a lot of time. But if you have a couple more and you want to see my opinion or someone else's opinion about which one we like better, please feel free to submit a couple more. I think out of the two, I like that one maybe a little bit better just because there's a little bit more story in it, a little bit more going on. I think the view might be a little bit better. But yeah, perfect clear day to get all those mountains back there. And a lot of depth with, here all the way to the background. So I think that, yeah, that's the end of that. So good job on those as well. Please feel free to edit. And when we edit, and I'll put these in the assignment descriptions as well, please don't do any weird Instagram type filters or anything. You can crop, you can change the color a little bit. If it's a little bit too cold or too warm, you can do that. You can change the contrast. You can turn things black and white. You can brighten an image or darken an image. But don't really, if you're a great Photoshopper, don't really get into any Photoshop things. I know on here you can edit, and there's these, Instagram type effects. Don't turn in photos like these. I want the photo to really stand for itself and be a great image, not rely on these kind of Instagram hipstamatic type things. Now, feel free, do it for yourself. Just don't turn them in like that. Yeah, you can make it look like you shot it on film. They even know about the ISO. Oh yeah, all those things. So 1,000th of a second, f4 is exactly that stuff that we see down here. But, it's just a frame. All right, so always just let me know if you have any questions. Whoever didn't have your photos in your album or on the photo stream, just let me know. Remember, every day late, it's going to go down a grade. If there was any reason that you couldn't get your photos in, maybe it was a family emergency, maybe you had to work all weekend, 3 doubles, and you just did not have time, just let me know ahead of time when those things come up, because I know they're going to come up, and it's not really a big deal. So have a great rest of your week, and just keep up checking into class every day. Talk to y'all soon.